Living without electricity doesn't mean living in the dark. Amish communities across the U.S. have come up with clever and practical ways to light their homes while sticking to their values. Though they can't connect to the power grid, there's one rule that makes even the most traditional Amish use light switches. Stick around to the end to find out why. The first methods are the most used in more progressive Amish communities, though it comes with its own unique set of benefits and challenges. Propane and natural gas have been providing light for centuries. The first method using these involves standalone propane lights. Imagine a tall pole with a light fixture at the top connected to a small propane tank at the base. These portable units are popular because families can move them around as needed. Many Amish households get creative with these, building decorative furniture pieces around the base to hide the propane tank while keeping it easily accessible. You might see one in the corner of a living room, providing light for evening reading, or positioned near a dining table for family meals. The second approach is more permanent. Fixtures built directly into the walls and ceilings of the home. These are connected through a network of pipes to a large propane tank outside the house, similar to how non-Amish homes might have an outdoor electrical box. These fixed fixtures are strategically placed throughout the home, typically in main gathering spaces, kitchens, and workrooms where consistent bright light is needed. Both lighting methods provide impressive brightness, easily illuminating large rooms for activities like sewing, reading, or family gatherings. However, they share one notable drawback: heat generation. When these lights are burning, they can really warm up a room. During winter, some Amish families joke that their lighting doubles as heating. Great for January, not so much for July. The heat can also dry out the air considerably, making some rooms feel a bit like a desert. The cost of running these lights varies depending on which system you're using. The portable units with small tanks need more frequent refills but are less expensive up front. The permanent fixtures connected to outdoor tanks typically cost more to install but can be more economical in the long run, especially for larger homes. A typical family might spend between $100 to $200 monthly on propane, though this fluctuates with market prices. Despite these challenges, propane and natural gas lighting remains popular among more progressive Amish communities. Many families mix and match both methods, using the built-in fixtures in frequently used spaces while keeping a few portable units for flexibility. Let's explore the more traditional approach to Amish lighting: kerosene and oil lamps. While modern communities often overlook these classic lighting methods, the more traditional Amish groups still embrace them for their simplicity and practicality. Kerosene and oil lamps come in two main varieties in Amish homes. First, you'll find the classic tabletop lamps, which you might spot scattered throughout living spaces and bedrooms. These portable lights cast a soft, warm glow that's gentler on the eyes compared to their propane counterparts. Then there are the ceiling-hung lamps, larger, brighter versions that serve as primary light sources in main living areas. These overhead lamps typically burn kerosene and can illuminate entire rooms, though not quite as brightly as propane lights. What makes these lamps particularly appealing to traditional communities is their modest heat output. Unlike propane lights that can turn a room into an impromptu sauna, kerosene and oil lamps produce significantly less heat. This makes them much more comfortable to sit under, especially during those warm summer evenings when the last thing you want is extra warmth. The cost of running these lamps is notably lower than propane systems. A typical Amish family using primarily kerosene lighting might spend around $50 to $75 monthly on fuel, depending on usage patterns and local fuel prices. The lamps themselves are also relatively inexpensive to maintain. Just regular cleaning and occasional wick replacement keeps them running smoothly. Traditional communities, particularly those in Pennsylvania and Ohio, have used these lamps for generations. There's a certain skill to maintaining them, knowing exactly how to trim the wick for the cleanest burn, understanding how to clean the glass chimneys properly, and even mastering the art of carrying a lit lamp upstairs without spilling any oil, a skill that takes more practice than you'd think. One interesting aspect of kerosene and oil lighting is how it naturally encourages family gathering. The softer light tends to draw people closer together, creating cozy spaces for evening activities. Many Amish families share stories about how everyone naturally gravitates toward the lamplit table for reading, homework, or family games. The main trade-off with these traditional lighting methods is their lower light output. Reading or detailed handwork might require sitting closer to the light source, and some tasks are better done during daylight hours. However, many traditional Amish families view this as a feature rather than a bug. It helps maintain a natural daily rhythm and encourages good sleep patterns by limiting bright light exposure in the evening hours. Now, let's explore how some Amish communities have embraced battery-powered lights, finding a clever way to use modern technology while staying true to their values of remaining off the electrical grid. These aren't your typical flashlights. We're talking about heavy-duty work lights, often from brands like DeWalt, that pack some serious illumination power. Picture a robust light fixture with a substantial battery pack at the bottom. These lights generate impressive brightness without the heat issues that plague propane or gas lighting systems, making them particularly popular in workshops and barns where good visibility is crucial for safety. What makes these battery-powered lights acceptable in some Amish communities is an interesting theological distinction. They're not connected to the outside world's power grid. Instead, families charge their batteries using diesel generators or, in more progressive communities, solar panels. Typically, they'll charge several battery packs during the day to ensure they have enough power for evening activities. Some families have worked out efficient rotation systems. While one set of batteries powers their lights, another set is charging, ensuring they never run out of illumination. The only product we'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times like the Great Depression and wartime that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apelian on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. The cost breakdown is quite different from other lighting methods. While the initial investment in good quality lights and batteries might be higher, a quality work light with batteries can run $150 to $300, the ongoing costs are relatively low. The main expense comes from running the generator for charging, though communities using solar panels see even lower operating costs. A family might spend around $30 to $40 monthly on generator fuel, significantly less than propane or kerosene lighting. Not all Amish communities embrace this technology. You're more likely to find these battery-powered systems in more progressive communities, particularly those with businesses requiring reliable lighting for workshops or stores. Traditional groups generally stick to older lighting methods, viewing battery-powered lights as too modern for their lifestyle. One particularly clever use of these lights is in barns and workshops where safety is paramount. The bright, consistent illumination makes detailed work easier and safer, especially during early morning or evening hours. Plus, since these lights don't generate much heat and have no open flame, they're much safer around the wood shavings and hay typically found in these spaces. The battery-powered lighting system shows how some Amish communities thoughtfully adapt modern technology to serve their needs while maintaining their independence from the outside world. It's a practical solution that bridges the gap between tradition and necessity, providing reliable lighting without compromising their values. Some community members joke that their non-Amish neighbors are actually jealous during power outages. While the English houses go dark, their battery-powered lights keep shining. When it comes to lighting their homes, the Amish have mastered the art of working with nature through strategic window placement and skylights. This approach might seem simple, but it's actually a carefully planned system that makes the most of natural daylight. Amish homes typically feature larger windows than you might expect, and their placement is no accident. Each window is strategically positioned to capture sunlight throughout the day. South-facing windows catch the strongest light, making them perfect for illuminating main living areas and kitchens where families spend most of their daytime hours. East-facing windows welcome the morning sun, helping families rise early for their daily chores, while west-facing windows provide late afternoon light for dinner preparation and evening activities. The size of these windows often surprises visitors. They're usually quite generous, allowing plenty of natural light to flood the space. This isn't just about having good light, it's about being efficient. By maximizing natural daylight, Amish families can significantly reduce their reliance on artificial lighting during daylight hours, saving both money and resources. But the real game changer in many Amish homes is the skylight, though you won't find these in every community. Think of them as windows in the ceiling, creating bright spots of natural light throughout the home. They're particularly valuable in interior rooms that don't have external walls for traditional windows. A well-placed skylight can illuminate a hallway, bathroom, or storage area that would otherwise require artificial lighting throughout the day. The placement of skylights requires careful consideration. Too many, and the home becomes difficult to heat in winter or cool in summer. Too few, and you miss out on valuable natural light. Some Amish builders have become experts at finding this perfect balance, positioning skylights where they'll provide maximum benefit without compromising the home's comfort or efficiency. During home construction, Amish builders pay special attention to the roof pitch and orientation to maximize the effectiveness of skylights. They consider the sun's path throughout the year, ensuring that winter sunlight can penetrate deeper into the home when additional light and warmth are welcome, while summer sun is partially blocked to prevent overheating. A fascinating shift is happening in some Amish communities as solar panels become an increasingly popular lighting solution. These panels represent a unique compromise between maintaining independence from the electrical grid while embracing clean, efficient technology. Unlike their non-Amish neighbors who mount solar panels prominently on rooftops, Amish families typically install their panels in more discreet locations, usually at ground level beside their homes or behind barns. This placement isn't just about being humble, it also makes the panels easier to maintain and adjust for optimal sunlight exposure. Some families have even incorporated their solar arrays into garden layouts, creating practical yet aesthetically pleasing installations. The solar setup in an Amish home is quite clever. These panels connect to a battery storage system, creating a completely self-contained power network for their lighting needs. During the day, the panels collect solar energy, storing it in deep cycle batteries. When evening comes, these batteries power their home's lighting system through carefully installed wiring. What makes this acceptable to Amish values? It's simple. They remain completely independent from the outside world's power grid. One unexpected benefit of this system has emerged during regional power outages. While their non-Amish neighbors scramble for flashlights and generators, Amish homes with solar setups continue with their evening activities as usual. Their battery backup systems provide reliable power regardless of what's happening with the main electrical grid. Some Amish families joke that they're the only ones on their road with lights on during blackouts. The cost analysis makes solar particularly attractive. While the initial investment is substantial, typically $5,000 to $10,000 for a basic home lighting system, the long-term savings are significant. With minimal maintenance costs and free energy from the sun, families often find their systems pay for themselves within a few years. Plus, they're no longer subject to fluctuating propane or kerosene prices. Not all Amish communities embrace solar technology. More traditional groups still prefer older lighting methods, viewing solar panels as too modern. However, many progressive communities have found that solar power aligns perfectly with their values of self-sufficiency and good stewardship of resources. They've discovered that using the sun's energy doesn't compromise their principles. It actually supports them by reducing reliance on outside resources. Here's an interesting twist in Amish life. The one-year electricity rule found in some old order Amish communities. This unique exception shows how even the strictest communities sometimes need to be practical when it comes to housing transitions. When an Amish family buys a house from a non-Amish person, they call them English, they sometimes face a peculiar situation. The house is already connected to the electrical grid. Instead of requiring immediate disconnection, some communities have established a practical solution, a one-year grace period where the family can continue using the existing electrical system. This rule serves several purposes. First, it gives families time to save money for alternative lighting systems, which can be quite expensive to install. Second, it allows them to gradually transition their daily routines from electric to non-electric living. Think of it like training wheels on a bicycle. It helps them adjust to their new lifestyle smoothly rather than abruptly. However, once that year is up, the family is expected to disconnect from the grid and switch to approved Amish lighting methods. Some families even start the conversion process early, gradually replacing electric lights with propane or oil lamps room by room. This way, they're fully prepared when their year of grace ends. This practical approach to transition periods shows how Amish communities balance their religious principles with real-world necessities. While they're firm in their conviction to live without grid electricity, they recognize that sometimes a gradual change is more sensible than an immediate one. When special occasions roll around, Amish homes light up in unique and meaningful ways. During holidays like Christmas and Easter, their usual lighting takes on a more festive character, though still maintaining their commitment to simplicity and tradition. During these celebrations, Amish families often bring out special oil lamps and candles reserved just for holidays. You won't find flashing LED lights or animated displays here. Instead, they create warmth and ambiance through carefully placed lighting that enhances the spiritual significance of these occasions. Extra gas lamps might be lit in gathering spaces, creating a warm, inviting atmosphere for family celebrations. The use of candles takes on special meaning during holidays, particularly at Christmas. While candles aren't practical for everyday lighting, imagine trying to read or sew by candlelight every night. They hold deep symbolic significance during celebrations. Families might place them in windows or on tables, their gentle flames representing hope and faith, central themes in their community's religious life. What makes these holiday lighting traditions particularly special is how they bring families together. The softer, warmer light naturally draws people closer, creating intimate spaces for sharing stories and celebrating together. Some communities even maintain specific traditions about when certain lights should be lit during holiday evenings and who has the honor of lighting them. Safety remains a priority even during festivities. Extra candles are always carefully monitored, and families make sure to keep water or sand nearby just in case. It's a sensible precaution that doesn't diminish the beauty of their holiday traditions. The Amish approach to seasonal lighting shows remarkable adaptability throughout the year, especially when dealing with winter's early darkness and summer's extended daylight. Their lighting strategies shift with the seasons, perfectly matching their early-to-bed, early-to-rise lifestyle. Winter brings unique challenges, particularly when darkness settles in by 4:30 p.m. During these months, Amish families adjust their daily routines to make the most of natural daylight. They often start their days well before sunrise, maximizing productivity during daylight hours. When darkness comes early, they rely more heavily on their artificial lighting systems, whether it's propane lights, kerosene lamps, or battery-powered options. Summer offers a different rhythm altogether. With daylight stretching into the evening hours, families can reduce their reliance on artificial lighting. Many shift their schedules to align with the sun, starting chores at dawn and winding down as natural light fades. This natural alignment helps maintain their body's internal clock and promotes better sleep patterns. Speaking of sleep, the Amish lifestyle naturally supports healthy sleep rhythms. Without the disruption of electric lights, phone screens, or TV, their bodies more easily follow natural circadian rhythms. They typically rise around 4:30 a.m. in summer and 5:30 a.m. in winter, adjusting their bedtimes accordingly to ensure adequate rest. This schedule isn't just about tradition. It's about working efficiently with available light while maintaining good health through consistent sleep patterns. When it comes to making the most of their lighting, Amish communities have developed some remarkably clever techniques using reflectors and mirrors. This isn't about vanity, it's about maximizing every bit of light they have, whether it's from a lamp, candle, or the sun itself. Strategically placed mirrors and reflective surfaces throughout Amish homes serve as natural light amplifiers. You might find a carefully angled mirror opposite a window, bouncing sunlight deeper into a room. In workshops, polished metal surfaces help spread light from a single lamp across the entire workspace. Some families even use lighter paint colors on walls and ceilings to help reflect and diffuse light more effectively. The positioning of these reflective surfaces isn't random. It's a carefully planned system. For example, a mirror placed across from a kerosene lamp can effectively double the light in a room. In kitchens, you might spot shiny metal cookware hanging on walls, serving both as practical storage and as light reflectors. Some families have even incorporated reflective tiles in strategic spots to brighten typically dark corners. By understanding how light behaves and using basic principles of reflection, they've found ways to maximize their lighting efficiency without relying on more powerful light sources. It's a perfect example of their practical approach to problem solving. using what they have more effectively rather than seeking more powerful alternatives. Ever walked into an Amish home and spotted a light switch on the wall? Don't worry, you're not imagining things. These seemingly out-of-place switches actually have two practical explanations that make perfect sense once you understand them. The first reason is pretty straightforward. Many Amish families buy existing homes from non-Amish owners. When they move in, they disconnect from the electrical grid, but often leave the switches, outlets, and wiring in place. Why go through the hassle and expense of removing something that's not hurting anyone? These defunct switches become quiet reminders of the home's previous life. But here's where it gets interesting. You might also spot electrical fixtures in brand new Amish-built homes. This isn't a sign they're planning to break tradition. It's actually smart business thinking. These families are planning ahead for potential future home sales. By installing basic electrical systems during construction, though never connecting them to power, they're making their homes more attractive to potential non-Amish buyers down the road. Think of it as investment planning, Amish style. Installing electrical systems during construction is much cheaper than adding them later, and it significantly increases a home's resale value. The switches and outlets sit quietly in the walls, unused by the Amish families, but ready for future owners who might want to connect to the grid. It's a practical approach that balances their traditional lifestyle with smart financial planning. While the Amish have developed ingenious ways to light their homes without electricity, their methods teach us valuable lessons about resourcefulness and energy independence. However, for most of us, the convenience and efficiency of modern electrical lighting remains the practical choice for illuminating our daily lives.